Hello, everybody. This is J.S. Pitcher. Thank you so much for listening to Wasteland Free Radio. I just wanted to pop on and say thank you, but I also wanted to tell you about our Patreon. We have bonus episodes, behind the scenes episodes, an entire bonus series called The Tracks, and so much more. And you can find it all on Patreon. We also have a merch store, and we launched something called a Discord, but I'm a little old, so I need some help getting it started. Thank you. All right, enjoy the show. I'm running on battery power once again, and local authorities are still on vacation, if that's what's going on. I'm the lone transmitter, and you're listening to WFR, Wasteland Free Radio. As I was walking through Yellowbrook City, enjoying my newfound freedom, I ran into my old friend, Danny Sixfingers. He's had a bit of a wild ride these past few years. He disappeared, came back with 10 normal fingers on his hands. I'm assuming. I've never seen his hands without gloves. But now that he's returned to Yellowbrook City and he's reintegrating into society a little bit, he's become a good deal more personable. He even offered to let me bum a cigarette off of him. Now, I don't smoke cigarettes, not a big deal, but what he handed me wasn't a cigarette. Keep in mind, growing any kind of plant is a little difficult considering this is the Radlands and not a lot of things grow outside. And if they do grow outside, they are usually mutated and carnivorous. Yeah, you think that's grass you're laying in? Try again. They don't have very big mouths, they're not going to eat you entirely, but you're going to have tiny bites all over your back. It's really uncomfortable. But anyway, it's not tobacco in his cigarettes. It's not the other stuff that we're not allowed to talk about. Oh, I can talk about that now. Yeah, local authorities are gone. It wasn't tobacco, and neither was it rad cabbage, which is what I smoke when I need to smoke. When I got a good look at the cigarette, I noticed a steel wool filter, some metal shavings, and what looked like and smelled like concrete dust. And I don't want to put any of that in my lungs on purpose. Y'all can do what you want, but this is the Radlands, and healthcare is really hard to come by. I don't want to make it harder for myself to survive, you know what I mean? So when I refused, politely, he took a drag, and I smelled nothing but hot metal, oil, and I don't know, it smelled like blood? Maybe it was just iron. I don't know. It smelled terrible. I don't know why anybody would voluntarily do that, but maybe it's medicinal for him. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but stay in school, kids, and if you're gonna do drugs, well, Radlanders, it was high time I start my spring cleaning, so over the past weekend, I cleaned out Weatherbot 95's room. It is a perfectly usable decontamination station. He can plug in and recharge whenever he likes, but he has been spending most of his time with Max the Millions, and I can't say I blame him. She really takes good care of him. I also went into the basement of Wasteland Free Radio for the first time ever. I've always known there is a basement. That's where the station beast usually takes her meals, but she doesn't leave anything behind, so I've never had to go down there to clean up after her. In the first room, I didn't find very much, just a bunch of empty boxes and a little bit of blank tape. And that's about all I found until I worked my way to the very back of the hall. And Wasteland Free Radio isn't a very big building, so this basement extends far beyond where you'd think it'd go. So I kept going, and I eventually came across two things. One, I found a box of old recordings, and I don't know what they are. Most of them are wrecked. I can't wait to see if any of them have anything useful. And the other thing I found is my new co-host. Everybody welcome to Wasteland Free Radio, DJ Daddy D-Rock. Yeah, I found a skeleton in the basement with a name tag and everything. Okay, it's less of a skeleton and it's more like a bag of assorted bones. I don't know if any of my friends like solving puzzles, but consider this an invitation to come on over. I don't know how long skeletons usually survive in basements, so I have no idea how long D-Rock has been downstairs, but I'm really excited to get his perspective on recent turn of events. Okay, listen, just so you all know, I'm aware that he's a skeleton and that he can't actually, talk to me. I haven't actually lost my mind, I promise. I'm really excited to dig into these boxes and find out what's on these tapes. Most of them are in pretty rough shape, but my retro resequencer has salvaged worse. Well, I'm heading out with Max the Millions tomorrow on a salvage operation that's supposed to take the better half of a week. I don't usually go out into the Radlands for more than a day or two at a time, but if I'm with Max, I imagine I'll be pretty safe. She can handle herself just fine. Max tells me we're leaving at first light tomorrow, which is a little subjective because none of us can see the sun through the ash cloud above us. So, yeah, I guess I'll see her first thing in the morning, but I don't really know what that means. Max hasn't told me where we're going yet, which is completely fine. I don't really know how to keep secrets, especially if you're a cute cannibal. I don't know, my heart's an open book for people like you. God, I'm so very lonely. If Max and I are headed in the direction I think we are, then I might be able to stop off at the robot graveyard. I've got a couple of things I need shipped, and the courier told me to drop stuff off there with postage paid, preferably, but I don't know how to pay them. I guess I'll just drop off some bits. Of course, it's hard to say when the courier is going to be back this way. As far as I know, they're fighting in the war in the West, or reporting on the war in the West, or delivering medicine. I don't remember anymore. It's been a while. I don't know much about it, but war is a pretty nasty business. We do have a saying out here in the Radlands, though. War changes you. Not that I would know firsthand, of course. I've never been in a war. I've never even been in a fight. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. I've hidden under rocks and in caves and behind boxes to avoid getting into fights, and I've run away from a few. Does that mean I lost, or does that mean I won? My stepmom always said, the best way to win a fight is to never be in one. That seems like pretty decent advice coming from a internationally renowned thief. But like I always say, a broken atomic clock can still be right twice a day. Or 3 times a day if you're lucky, or find yourself in a time loop. And I know what you're thinking. Time loops aren't real, lone transmitter. You've been hitting the rad cabbage too hard. Well, okay, I have been hitting the rad cabbage a little hard, and I've never actually experienced a time loop on my own. But just because I haven't experienced something doesn't mean it's not true. And the laws of physics are not what they used to be, and we don't really have any scientists, well, not anymore, ever since Dynamo Science Labs exploded. We do have that Dr. Professor Elux guy, but he's not really a scientist, and nobody has really heard from him in weeks. He just disappeared into his old electronics warehouse, and that was that. Now, generally speaking, when somebody like that disappears and goes into seclusion, they're turning into some kind of an evil genius, but I think he already was. I think he already was, half of that at least. I don't know if I would actually qualify him as a genius. So far, the only conversation I've had with him is not a conversation at all. It was just him babbling as he walked around the ruins of Dynamo Science Labs. Ruins that were his fault, by the way. Whatever, it's probably better for all of us if he just stays in hiding. I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about going out into the Radlands for more than just a couple days. I know I'll be safe with Max. She's taken care of herself long enough, and she has a whole business to look out for. She will take care of me too. Not to mention, we'll probably split a couple 6-packs of green iridescent liquid while we're out there. But I guess I would feel better if I knew where we were going. What's east of here anyway? Or whatever is supposed to be east. I'll have to take a look. One of the things I'm a little worried about is something I don't have any control over at all, and that's the meteor showers that Weatherbot 95 warned us about last month. They're still going on. Inside the protective dome, we're safe, and all those meteors simply crash into the dome and explode on impact. No big deal. But once you get outside of Yellowbrook City, you are fair game to whatever terrible deity is throwing meteors at us. I'm just kidding. It's not a deity. It's the moon. The moon is broken, and parts of the moon have been falling on Earth ever since the Great Devastation. Or so I'm told. History is a bit spotty, especially when it comes to the moon. Considering we can't look at the sky and see anything, there are some people that don't even think the moon exists at all. Whenever I try to explain that we have tides because of the moon, they then say tides don't exist either, and that I've been drinking crazy juice, and that's the lamest insult I've ever heard, and I feel like they can do a lot better. Alright, I'm gonna leave you with the Retro Resequencer playing one of my new favorite old songs from before the Great Devastation, Calling It In by Quinn. I'm the Lone Transmitter, and you've been listening to WFR, Wasteland Free Radio, your very last source for news.
In an age where I paid for school, but now I can do what I do. In a phase where you're not on the fringe, so nobody hears you. I found my place on a California king that I couldn't pay for. Parked my rage outside of therapy in a hybrid RAV4. Plot twist, I'm the therapist, like Jason Segel. Secretly jealous of Taylor Swift, wishing we were equals. And in a case where the internet plays the parts I had to hide, my ego comes to my defense during family fights. Can't give it up, can't give enough, can't stand living up to it all. Cause it feels like me versus a machine, and sometimes I feel like calling it in. Fuck the computer for driving me into a dead-end user. Every bit of my brain stuck in fight or flight like an active shooter. Tell me what will it take to put it on soul in a new fuck the computer. Part-time pay for a full-time fight is wearing out my heart. But there's an ad for a look I like, and tap, add to cart. So I came of age, falling out of braces, no one explained to me. Carrying the weight of the expectations nobody else can see. Can't give it up, can't give enough, can't stand living up to it all. Cause it feels like me versus a machine, and sometimes I feel like calling it in. Fuck the computer for driving me into a dead-end user. Every bit of my brain stuck in fight or flight like an active shooter. Tell me what will it take to put it on soul in a new fuck the computer. I hate this, shameless push to be nothing but famous. If something about me is contagious, and none of this pain will be wasted. But opposed to me is a ghost to me. It's hard to get close to me, being so distant and encrypted. Can I crack the code if I just get some light? Do I get some light? Can I get some light? Can I find my soul if I just get some light? Do I get some light? Can I get some light? The computer for driving me into a dead-end user. Every bit of my brain stuck in fight or flight like an active shooter. Tell me what will it take to put it on soul in a new fuck the computer.
Thank you everybody for listening to Wasteland Free Radio. Intro and background music is by 11D7, and today's Retro Resequencer was the artist Quinn with their song, Calling It In. If you liked the show, you can always find us on Patreon. Patrons get bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, and a semi-regular newspaper called The End Times. Not a real newspaper. I'm not going to send it to you. The courier isn't going to deliver it or anything like that. You can also help out the show for free by giving us a review and 5 stars on whatever podcast app you choose. Thank you again for listening, and remember, it's not the apocalypse. It's just one of them, and we have a long way to go.